top 5, and this is a interesting one. Top 5 sports that aren't sports. You know what I'm saying? So if you're out there, you know what I'm saying, think about that for a second. Top 5 sports that aren't sports. Hey, jump ball, man. Who wants to throw their top 5 sports that aren't sports out there?
I started croquet. I think that's not a sport.
I think that's a food, bruh.
But for me, I find that the bootleg baseball, or yeah, because I'm like, so you pitch the ball or you throw what?
Yeah.
And that's one. My other one would be polo or the racehorse. Damn, I'm like, what the fuck? Why I need you to ride the horse for? I'm like, all right.
Whoa.
I think we mixing up sports a little bit. I think we.
Am I?
Oh,
See, I don't even know.
Or is it what the hell?
Oh,
One where,
we
like,
got polo like the man on your shirt. Some of y'all got USPA, but
yeah.
In the water riding
and then
seahorse.
we got the water polo. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's in the Olympics.
No, I'm talking about the polo, the one in the horse. It's
The
like,
horse ride. Okay.
and then what's my other one? My other one would be like, what's the one in the Olympics where like they're trying to like stop the little puck from landing
Curling.
somewhere like
Curling.
yeah, curling.
Curling.
I'm like, what's the point of that?
I don't know, but it's fun to watch.
Bro, it's like me watching my mom sweep or watching someone sweep. I'm like, you trying to shine something? Bro, what is
That
going
might be
on?
fun to watch.
Bro, that was never fun as a kid. Damn sure ain't fun as an adult. That's 3. My last 2. What would be my last 2? Man, something as a sport, but really not a sport. Poker.
Poker? That's a
Poker's
good
good
one.
one. That's a good
That's
one.
just straight gambling right there. I'm like, damn, bro, you just fucking losing your money and shit. That shit not a sport if you gotta lose your money.
Nah, it's a game of skill. I love poker, but it's not a sport.
What's the thrill in that? And then my last one. Damn, what would be my last one on this one? What's a sport that's not a sport?
I don't know. We might need you to marinate on that, G. Go ahead and
Hey,
marinate.
I got 5, man. I got 5. I think y'all like these 5. And it might be some fans of these sports that might get a little sensitive because you might think that they're real sports, but I'm here to tell you that they are not. So I'm about to name my top 5 sports that aren't real sports. Coming in at number 5 for me is the spelling bee, the national spelling bee. I don't know if you've ever seen it on ESPN or you've seen the clips where the kids are passing out. Spelling bees aren't real sports, but I'll be damned if you tell me those kids aren't competitive as hell, bruh. There's a lot of practice that goes into that. Those parents get into it. It is mad competitive. And I'm a horrible speller, but I love watching the spelling bee off the competition alone.
Yeah, it's not Microsoft Word ended that, man. They just throw a little red line, you right click, you good, man.
Yeah,
Who needs
I'm not worried about it no more. I'm good. But number 4, I actually switched this one, and this one might offend some people. Bowling. I do not consider bowling a sport at all. I know someone who used to bowl, and they used to act like they were on a sport team, but I'm here to let you know you never played sports, bro. You just went to the bowling alley and played a really fun game with your teammates. But bowling is cool. I like it. I enjoy it. It's competitive, but it's not a sport. Number 3, I put this one ahead of bowling because I think it's a little bit more fun than bowling. G, you mentioned it, and that's poker. If you've seen that on ESPN as well, the World Series of Poker.
they have a World Series?
Really competitive. However, it is still not a sport. It's a game of skill, like you said, T. But it's not a sport, man. There's no defense. I can't stop you from doing what you're doing. You know, it's also a little bit of game, a chance slightly too. But let's keep it pushing, man, because I think this next one's going to offend some people too, man. And that's number 2, and it's golf. Golf is not a sport, bro. Y'all can argue with me with this one till the cows come home, bro. And I'll agree with you on some points. Golf takes a ton of skill. Swinging that golf stick to hit the golf ball and actually being accurate with it and getting it far and all that takes talent. Tiger Woods is incredible. A lot of those golfers are incredible. They're not really sports players, in my opinion, or athletes. But yeah, golf is a cool game, not a sport. And number 1, and personally, I kind of hope this does make somebody out there mad. My number 1 sport that is not a sport is NASCAR. Y'all are not athletes. Y'all are not. This is not a sport. This is racing, bro. Like I can get in my car. We can go race right now. We can go race right now, bro. We don't like. That's not. It's not. It's not a sport. I'm sorry. Like we can. I can find a closed course out here. I know some guys with some fast cars. We can go race anytime, bro. But it's cool. I get it. It makes a lot of money. People enjoy it. I'm kind of getting into NASCAR a little bit. Shout out to Bubba Wallace for the first time in my life. But it's my number one sport. That's not really a sport. NASCAR.
No, I feel you, man. Y'all make a sport out of finding the people that made that noose, man. I feel you.
There you go.
Bryce, what you got, man? What you got in your top 5?
I ain't gonna hold you. Rome stole a little bit of my thunder, but I expected that to go down for sure. So I'm gonna start with number 5, man. And honestly, this would probably be up a little higher, but just the ridiculousness of it, I couldn't even consider it as my top. Man, the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, man.
Oh, no.
Bro, the Glizzy Wars.
Man,
The Glizzy Wars.
These extraordinaires, man. These glizzy experts. These guys,
Glizzy gladiators.
Glizzy Hall of Famers, man. Hey, I got no respect for a Glizzy Hall of Famer, man. I'm sorry. Man. Yo, another thing is, man, every year, man, these guys get the biggest trophy I've ever seen, man. Like, let's keep trophies reserved for sports, please. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't just get a trophy for having a good week at work or, you know what I'm saying, dropping your kids off at school. Like, man, trophies are for sports, not for eating hot dogs. Number 5 is the glizzy game that is Nathan's hot dog contest. Number 4, man. Y'all know I love the UFC and y'all know I love boxing even more. But you know what's not a sport? That bare knuckle shit is not a sport, bruh. Two mamas just getting, you know what that is? A street fight. A street fight is not a sport, man. Like, come on, bro. Like, every time I see it, and at first, when it was like not too much going on, they were just on ESPN a little bit trying to market it to me like an actual sport. When these dudes' eyeballs is gouging out their head and they lip hanging off their face. Look, man, I love combat sports. No one loves them more than me. But the bare knuckles, man, keep that in the streets, man. I don't need to see that on the ESPNs of the world. Number 3, everybody on this one, man, I think poker. Poker's not a sport, dog. I'm sorry. Sorry, man. It has absolutely nothing to do with your physical ability. There's absolutely no way we can counter the sport. Mental, I get it. You know, the mental aspect of sports is a big thing. But sports also involve using your body in a physical way to be successful or to score or to do something. And, you know, doing this ain't enough to be a sport to me. I'm sorry. Number 2, man. Now, if y'all some real ESPN heads and you was on ESPN at 3 a.m. like I was back in the day, or up the early morning, you know, the 8:30 a.m. shift, y'all used to see a whole bunch of bass fishing. That shit is not a sport. I'm sorry, bro. Hey, I love it when they pull out a big 10-pound bass and that don't mouth this big, and you know, I love it. But you know what? It's not a sport, bro. Absolutely not a sport. I think it's cool. I love fishing. I grew up fishing. But it's not for 1 second is that a sport to me. And that's another one where the trophies they get, man, those are some big ass trophies for them not to be a sport. I don't know, man. I got a lot of questions about that. And number 1, man, Ron Marty said it. Hey, NASCAR, I hate to break it, but you're not a sport, and this is why. This is why, man. The best car always wins, bro. Like, if I got a McLaren and you got a Civic, I'm going to win. 9 times out of 10, unless I don't get it. Like, yo, if you pay it like Rome said, he starting to pay attention to NASCAR. I had a moment where I paid attention to every sport, and NASCAR was on the list. And every single week, bro, like literally every week, the car that tested the best in the little pre-test is the car that wins. So it's like, are these drivers even doing anything, or is it just how much money you have behind your name? Getting on one of these big teams like Joe Gibbs Racing or what is it, Henrich Racing, whatever it is, man. Like, you get on one of those teams and you set because they got the money to put behind you. But it's damn sure not a sport, man. And if anybody wanna prove me wrong, put me behind one of those cars. I'm gonna show you how to whip that jump.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
All you doing is turning left.
Shit.
Hey.
Go over sport.
You put Formula 1 in there too?
Nah, all them driving joints ain't sports, man.
Yeah. Formula 1. Hey, I will say though, that joint's a little more intense, in my opinion. Now, at least you got to swerve around. They barely even swerve around anybody like in NASCAR. It's like straight shot. Like you said, T, just a left turn. Not a sport. Not a sport for me. It doesn't do it. Great game. It's a great game.
All right. So I'm gonna do my top 5, and this one's gonna offend some people, and I know it's a lot of girl dads. That's real popular these days, but I'm sorry. Your little sunshine, cheerleading is not a sport.
Oh shit!
It's not a sport. It's at its best, it's elite. It's elite dancing. If that's the case, them girls down in Magic City are athletes too.
Some of them might be.
Like,
Not fired.
like there's no one booing. You know what I'm saying? Like your hairstyle matters. You know what I'm saying? Bows and bow rats matter. It's not a sport, man. It's not a sport. It's not even fun to watch. Honestly. My number 4, Rome, you said it, bowling. Look, if a 300-pound man with high blood sugar can dominate, you know what I'm saying? If I could beat you with a cheese stick in my hand, you know what I'm saying? That's one of my favorite things about bowling. Give me a mozzarella cheese stick. I don't want to go if I can't get the food. But it's not a sport. It's a game. It's a game. Number 3, hey, Bryce, I'm right with you. Fishing. That is not a sport. You know what I'm saying? That's something you do when, you know, you got a lot in your mind and you want to be one with nature and all that. That's hunting. You know what I'm saying? It's not a sport. It takes no athletic ability to fish. They got fish finders. If I'm a little older than y'all, but if you ever had a car with manual windows, you can fish. It's the same motion. You know what I'm saying? It's the same motion.
Right. That's right.
If you're too cheap to get power windows, you're not an athlete. If you're Fisher, you know, you're an angleman or whatever you want to call yourself, you're not an athlete. All right. Number 2, man. And they got this one in the Olympics, so I don't get it. Table tennis is not a sport. All right. It's a dope summer camp game. It's an elite summer camp game. But never in my life has somebody hit me like, hey, you trying to run a game of ping pong? Like, never. You know what I'm saying? It's not a sport, not a video game. They even make fishing video games. Yeah. You got no table tennis video game. It's a game, and take it out the Olympics. Stop wasting people's time and money. All right. My number 1, and you don't see too many of us doing it, for a lot of different reasons, but surfing. How is this a sport, man? It's not a sport. Like, again, no defense. Like, you can't hit a crowd. The only away team might be a shark. Like, it ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not a sport, man. Like, a bad game of surfing is a refreshing swim. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's not a sport, man. It's not a sport. And that's my top 5, you know what I'm saying, sports that aren't sports. I agree with y'all with the NASCAR too, but you know, my 5, I just had a little bit more hate for.
That was a good 5, man. But that cheerleader topic, bro, man, I hope these girl dads don't come at you online, bro. Those cheerleaders, man. I've been to a few competitions, man. They be coming for people. They don't like when you. I actually took them off my list for that exact reason. They don't like to get slandered as a non-sport.
If you think your daughter's an athlete because she's throwing girls in the air, I mean, I got a circus she could join. Like, just, you know what I'm saying?
Oh man,
like, it's just. I mean, I almost threw gymnastics out there. I mean, it's really just elite dancing. That's real. If you see it.
You know what? I think we on to something right now, fellas, is what constitutes a sport, man. I feel like you got to at least have one physical activity that leads to a victory. You know, it leads to some sort of scoring, at least some sort of points, right?
Yeah.
I think T brought up another good one with defense. If it's no defense, you got to have an opponent, right?
Yeah, no defense, no sport.
So individual sports, you know what I'm saying? We not really rocking with the individual sports.
I don't think it's a sport that you can do individually. Like, I mean, if you get a basketball right now and it's just you and you go to the court and you're shooting around. You're not playing basketball. Like, I mean, you're technically playing, but you're shooting around, bro. Like, you're not.
So what if I added some judges to judge my style and the way I wear my wristbands. That you know what I'm saying?
Still not a sport unless I
Okay.
don't know. It's still not a sport because no one can. If no one's defending you, if no one's preventing you from getting your goal, then I just can't consider it a sport. Which is why I got golf on the list.
If the defense is air and people are losing to the air defense, it's not a sport.
Okay.
Nah.
What about I got a question. T, you big in the track. What about shot put, discus? You know what I'm saying? These are individual sports, you know, where it's like
no. Track those are individual events, man. Track
isn't a sport.
Racing is a sport.
Racing is not a sport. Whether you're on a car, a horse, or yourself, racing is not a sport.
Human racing is not a sport.
No,
I mean,
okay.
Track is a fringe. I'm biased. Oh, come on, man.
You can't say track is fringe and then put cheerleading on the list.
According to your criteria, I don't think we have a sport here, bro.
All right, you got me. They're all sports.
Hey, yo, it's all sports. Basketball, football, baseball, and what? Soccer, that's it? Is that all we got?
Hockey's a good one. Volleyball's a sport.
Volleyball.
I'm excited to see what the people think about this one, man, because I think this is a good one that really get people talking. Hey, if you guys are watching this, comment and let us know what is the definition of a sport. I gotta know.
Yeah, definitely, man. And if you got a top 5 sports that aren't sports, let us know in the comments as well. And if you disagree with us, don't come too hard for my man T for that cheerleading comment. But yeah, you can disagree in the comments.
Hey, man. Your cheerleader daughter, if she's an athlete, I'll probably see her, you know what I'm saying, at my son's game playing the real sport.